Hello and welcome to Next Level Vitality, where science meets simplicity and better health starts with better choices. Let me start with a question. Do you start your day with a cup of coffee? If you do, you're not alone. Around 2 billion cups of coffee are consumed each day across the globe. That's a staggering number, and it speaks to just how deeply this drink is woven into our daily lives. But there's a debate that never seems to settle. Is coffee a health elixir or a silent saboteur? Today, we're diving deep into the science, separating myth from reality, and giving you clear, actionable insight into whether your daily brew is helping or harming your health. Let's begin. The biochemistry of coffee. What's in your cup? Coffee is more than just caffeine. Each cup contains over 1,000 bioactive compounds. The most famous, of course, is caffeine, a natural stimulant that wakes up your nervous system. But beyond that, coffee offers polyphenols, antioxidants, diterpenes like cafestol and kawil, and trace minerals like magnesium and potassium. Think of coffee like a complex orchestra. Caffeine may be the lead violin, but the full performance depends on every instrument playing its part. Let's break that down. Caffeine stimulates the central nervous system, increases alertness, and can improve concentration and mood, at least in the short term. Chlorogenic acids. These are antioxidant compounds that help fight oxidative stress and inflammation. Diterpenes present in unfiltered coffee, like French press or espresso. These can raise cholesterol, but we'll get into that shortly. Now that we know what's in coffee, let's ask the big question. What does it do to your body? Heart health and coffee, friend or foe? Let's start with the heart, arguably the most talked about concern when it comes to coffee. For years, coffee was blamed for raising blood pressure and increasing the risk of heart attacks. But newer research tells a more nuanced story. Moderate coffee consumption, defined as 2 to 4 cups per day, has actually been associated with a lower risk of heart disease in many studies. Why? Likely due to its antioxidant properties, anti-inflammatory effects, and potential to improve insulin sensitivity. However, there's a caveat. For those who are slow caffeine metabolizers, a genetic trait, caffeine lingers in the body longer, which can indeed raise blood pressure and increase heart attack risk. If you feel jittery, anxious, or get heart palpitations after coffee, your body may not be breaking it down efficiently. Genetic tests can confirm this, but tuning into how your body reacts is also a powerful tool. Now let's talk about cholesterol. Remember those diterpenes? Unfiltered coffee, such as French press, Turkish coffee, or espresso, can raise LDL cholesterol because it retains these compounds. Filtered coffee, on the other hand, like drip or pour over, traps them in the paper filter. So if you're concerned about cholesterol, choosing a filtered brew may be your best bet. Coffee and cancer risk. The surprising truth. This is where things get really interesting. For decades, coffee was listed as a possible carcinogen due to early animal studies and concerns about acrylamide, a chemical formed when coffee beans are roasted. But today, the narrative has shifted dramatically. The World Health Organization removed coffee from its list of potential carcinogens. And now, multiple studies suggest that coffee may actually reduce the risk of several types of cancer, including liver cancer, colorectal cancer, endometrial cancer, prostate cancer. The reason? Coffee's high antioxidant content, particularly polyphenols and chlorogenic acids, may help protect cells from DNA damage and reduce inflammation, 2 key drivers of cancer. But remember, this benefit is associated with moderate intake. Excessive coffee drinking, especially when combined with an unhealthy lifestyle, can muddy the waters. Coffee and brain health, more than just alertness. We often think of coffee as brain fuel, and in some ways that's true. Caffeine blocks a neurotransmitter called adenosine, which builds up in the brain over the day and makes us feel sleepy. By blocking it, caffeine keeps us more alert. But the benefits may go beyond just staying awake. Some research suggests that regular, moderate coffee intake is linked to a lower risk of cognitive decline, Alzheimer's disease, and Parkinson's disease. How? It could be due to its antioxidant effects, anti-inflammatory action, or the way caffeine helps modulate brain signaling. However, there's a fine line. High doses of caffeine can cause anxiety, restlessness, and interfere with deep sleep, all of which can impair brain function over time. So again, the key is moderation and timing. Sleep disruption, the dark side of the bean. Let's talk about the timing of your coffee. Caffeine has a half-life of about 5 to 7 hours in the average adult. That means if you drink a cup of coffee at 3 p.m., about half of that caffeine is still in your system at 10 p.m. And even if you don't feel wired, caffeine can reduce the amount of deep sleep and REM sleep you get, two phases essential for memory consolidation, immune function, and emotional regulation. Poor sleep, in turn, leads to increased cravings for sugar and processed foods, higher levels of cortisol, the stress hormone, decreased insulin sensitivity. It's a ripple effect. So if you're struggling with sleep, mood swings, or fatigue, your late afternoon coffee may be a silent culprit. Our advice? Try cutting off caffeine after 12 noon and see if your sleep improves. Coffee and gut health, boost or burden. Coffee stimulates the production of stomach acid. For most people, this is fine. But if you suffer from acid reflux, gastritis, or a sensitive gut, coffee, especially on an empty stomach, can trigger symptoms. However, here's a twist. Coffee also acts as a prebiotic, feeding beneficial gut bacteria and promoting motility in the colon. That's why it's known to get things moving in the morning. So it's not all bad for your gut, but it depends on your baseline health and timing. Tip: if you have gut sensitivity, try drinking your coffee with food and choose lower acidity blends or cold brew, which tend to be gentler on the stomach. Coffee and mental health, energy or anxiety. Here's where the balance gets personal. Caffeine increases dopamine and norepinephrine, two brain chemicals that can enhance focus, motivation, and mood. In this way, coffee can feel like a mild antidepressant. But for some people, especially those prone to anxiety, too much caffeine can worsen nervousness, trigger panic attacks, or cause mental fatigue after the buzz wears off. If you feel on edge after your morning brew, or you're stuck in a cycle of highs and crashes, it might be time to reduce your intake or switch to a gentler alternative like matcha or herbal tea. And let's not forget, coffee is often paired with sugar, cream, or sweet syrups. That's not coffee's fault, but it certainly affects the health equation. Coffee and blood sugar. Is it helping or hurting? Coffee can be a double-edged sword for blood sugar. On one hand, caffeine can temporarily raise blood sugar and insulin levels, especially in people with type 2 diabetes or insulin resistance. But on the other hand, long-term coffee consumption without added sugar has been linked to a reduced risk of developing type 2 diabetes. The takeaway: if you're pre-diabetic or diabetic, monitor how your body responds to coffee. A continuous glucose monitor, CGM, can give real-time feedback. And always drink it black or with unsweetened plant milk to avoid a blood sugar spike. So, is coffee good or bad for you? Let's wrap it all together. Coffee is neither villain nor hero. Like most things in nutrition, its impact depends on the dose, timing, genetics, and your individual health conditions. In moderation, coffee can support brain health, lower risk of certain cancers, improve focus and mood, provide powerful antioxidants. In excess or in sensitive individuals, coffee can raise blood pressure and cholesterol, disrupt sleep, aggravate anxiety, trigger digestive issues. So here's our bottom line. If coffee helps you feel focused, energized, and happy without disrupting your sleep or mood, enjoy it. But if you find yourself reliant, restless, or fatigued, step back, reassess, and consider alternatives. 5 smart coffee habits to try today. Wait 90 minutes after waking before drinking coffee to let your natural cortisol peak. Stop caffeine after 12 p.m. to preserve deep sleep. Drink coffee with a meal, not on an empty stomach. Choose filtered coffee to protect your cholesterol. Skip the sugar and syrups. Sweeten naturally or enjoy it black. Thanks for watching Next Level Vitality. Whether you're a devoted coffee lover or a cautious sipper, we hope this video gave you clarity, not fear, around your daily brew. If you learned something new, give this video a thumbs up, subscribe for more wellness insights, and ring the bell so you never miss a dose of evidence-based health wisdom. And tell us in the comments, how do you take your coffee? And has this video changed how you feel about it? Until next time, stay energized, stay informed, and stay well.